Oh, welcome back. This week, the fine fellers and fellettes at O'Reilly want to help you better understand.
Derek Bieri seemed to have it all. Vice-grip garage made him millions. Over 3 million subscribers loved watching him fix cars. His family looked perfect. His Tennessee farm was paradise. But in 2023, something happened that changed everything. It wasn't a burnout. It wasn't a money problem. It was much worse. One moment in his garage nearly killed him. His 12-year-old son saw everything. What Derek experienced that day broke him in ways nobody expected. The man who could fix anything couldn't fix what happened next. He was born on May the 16th, 1984 in the cold, quiet town of Minot, North Dakota, where winter lasted most of the year and snow often buried the land for weeks at a time. His family lived in a small white farmhouse that stood alone in the midleaf flat fields and endless skies. There weren't many luxuries there. His father was a farmer who woke before dawn every day, working through snowstorms and frozen ground just to keep the equipment alive. In a place where you couldn't just run to a store, you had to fix what you had. If something broke, you didn't toss it, you rebuilt it. Derek Bieri grew up knowing that money was tight, resources were few, and survival meant learning how to work with your hands. By the time he was 3, he wasn't playing with toys. He was taking them apart. He'd sit in the barn with his father, watching him repair tractor engines. The smell of oil and the sound of metal clinks filling the cold air. One day in 1987, he quietly dismantled his toy truck and lined up the screws like his dad did. Nobody stopped him. His father encouraged it. And soon he was fixing the family lawnmower when it wouldn't start, listening to its hiccups and using just his senses to guess what went wrong. Everything in Derek's early life pointed toward one thing. Fix it yourself and fix it cheap. When he was 5, family dinners turned into lessons in reusing old parts. One summer in 1989, his father gave him a broken wagon and a challenge to fix it using scrap from 3 dead machines. He spent months figuring it out. At age 7, he had already repaired 6 farm tools using only junkyard parts and bolts others threw away. He wasn't learning these things because he wanted a hobby, he was learning them because that's how people survived where he lived. Even in kindergarten, you could see it. He was different. He fixed his own bike chain at age 6 and didn't tell anyone. His grandfather, a Wubby Tuet, used to tell stories about patching military vehicles under fire. Derek sat by the fire and listened closely, then stayed up late trying to apply what he'd heard to whatever old junk he could find in the yard. When he found a rusted 1972 farm truck with a seized engine, he'd quit. He spent 14 straight nights on it, freezing fingers, working by lamplight, and he got it running. That stubbornness, that never-let-go grit, was already there. In 1991, when he was 7, he didn't ask for a toy. He built one. A go-kart made from a baby stroller frame, leftover lawnmower engine, and whatever metal he could weld together. The whole thing cost less than $10. And it worked. He rode it through the fields like it was a brand new machine. That first go-kart became 3, then 4. Each one better than the last. He didn't believe in waste. If something had parts, it had potential. At 13, digging through the back of the family shed, he found something that stopped him. His grandfather's old Ford truck, rusted, tired, and nearly forgotten. No manuals, no help, no fancy tools, just Derek. Some borrowed wrenches and time. He stripped the rust by hand, replaced the ignition wires, rebuilt the distributor, and when he changed the oil all by himself, it wasn't just a mechanical task. It was the first step in what would become his life. In 2001, he joined the auto shop class at Minot High School. Most kids there were just trying to pass. Derek was rebuilding a 1972 Chevy Nova carburetor down to the smallest bolt. He made diagrams, took notes, cleaned every part by hand. The Nova won him straight A's and A Best in Class ribbon at the local fair. It even got an honorable mention in a regional competition. But for Derek, the real prize was knowing he'd figured it out alone. The next summer, when he was 16, he wanted to keep learning, but his parents couldn't afford new parts. So he bought a beat-up 1985 Honda Civic $4,200. Over 3 long months, he replaced the entire transmission with junkyard parts. He hoisted the engine himself, removed the bad system, and re-rigged a new one with tools and scraps. A job that would have cost $800 at a shop, he did for a fraction. Then came the accident. At 17, while welding a scrap fender, he made a mistake that left his index finger fused to the metal. The pain sent him straight to the hospital. But he didn't quit. Instead, he studied safety protocol like a soldier studies a map. It was a brutal lesson, but it made him better. After high school in 2002, he joined a local college program in automotive tech. In late-night lab sessions, he took apart V8 engines bolt by bolt. While others left early, he stayed behind to clean parts until midnight. Professors noticed he wasn't fast, but he was exact. Every part was cataloged, cleaned, and reassembled with care. This was where he began developing the slow, methodical process that would later define his car builds online. But before any of that could turn into a career, he joined the U.S. Army at 18. They sent him to Fort Gordon, Georgia, where he became an information tech specialist. His job was keeping satellite systems online, making sure military units could talk to each other even during simulated combat. 12-hour shifts, glitches, pressure. He learned how to stay calm, how to work fast, how to solve problems when failure wasn't an option. In 2004, they sent him to Iraq. He was 20. During one patrol near Baghdad, his convoy's Humvee broke down. No power, no time, and they were exposed. Derek slid under the truck with a flashlight, traced the wires, found AFRED relay, and bypassed it using scraps and hand tools. He got the vehicle running again and saved the convoy from being stuck in enemy territory. His commanding officer never forgot it. But he didn't stop there. That same year, he wrote his own software, a simple tool that let soldiers diagnose electrical issues in air vehicles without waiting for outside help. It ran on basic Army laptops and saved time in the field. He even used it to fix a buddy's 1990 Jeep Wrangler by identifying hidden wiring faults. Word spread fast. He was no longer just a mechanic. He was the guy who could fix anything. Then came the laptop theft. In 2005, enemy saboteurs stole a vital control laptop from a transport truck. Without it, the vehicle couldn't run. Derek dug through trash, found old cables, stripped parts from a dead generator, and built a custom wiring harness from scratch. He did it in 2 nights. The truck worked. His unit kept moving. The Army quietly issued a condemnation. He was discharged in 2007, age 23. He went home to North Dakota with everything he'd learned and something to prove. He found a rusted 1969 Chevy Camaro and got to work. He pulled the engine out himself, rewired the entire car, patched the floor. Every bolt was cleaned. Every repair was done by hand in the cold in his parents' driveway. He was 24 when he walked into that Mini dealership in 2008, fresh out of the military. Hans still used tower wrenching on Humvees. But this wasn't about war anymore. It was about transmissions. That first year, he tore through over 500 of them. Most of them GM V6s, known in the industry for chewing up lesser techs. His success rate hit 98%. People started talking, not because it was flashy, but because every car he touched seemed to come back to life. In 2012, he stepped into a new room. Vice President of Operations, a Midwest parts company with over $2 million in supplier contracts, now had him at the helm. And he made a quiet shift. He started choosing vendors not just for price, but for how they treated their workers. If they paid fair wages, ensured safe workplaces, they got bigger deals. If they didn't, he walked away. Over 2 years, the company's turnover rate dropped 40%. No more burned out staff running for the door. This wasn't common in his world, and word got out. His name began showing up in trade magazines. Quiet guy, strong ethics, solid numbers, a rare mix. Then 2014 hit like a hammer. He was 30 and now CEO. One night, staring at financial reports, something didn't add up, and handed off to accountants. He stayed up night after night doing the math himself. What he found was worse than he imagined. $150,000 gone, his own CFO, fake invoices, phantom vendors, the betrayal cut deep, but within weeks, he tracked down $120,000, pressed charges, fired the CFO, and told his team everything. No secrets. The local business community was stunned, not just by the theft, but by how fast and fearlessly he responded. That moment changed how people saw him. Not just a leader, but a protector. 2 years later, the world saw a different side. He had started filming in his garage. No lights, no crew, just him, some rusted metal, and a taped-up iPhone. It wasn't a business plan. It was therapy. The boardroom politics, the backstabbing, the pressure, it all melted away when he picked up a wrench and people noticed his videos weren't polished. They were real. Mistakes left in grease under the nails. Laughter between curses, and it clicked. Viewers didn't want perfection, they wanted honesty. Vice Grip Garage was born in those late nights. It grew quietly at first. Then it exploded. Over 1.39 million subscribers, over 250 million views, and behind it all was Amon, who just wanted to feel like himself again. But none of it would have worked without Jessica. They met at the Maine County Fair in 2001. He was 17. She was 2. 2 farm kids who understood hard work, long winters, and second-hand boots. They started dating seriously, and on July 19, 2008, they married in a backyard. Just 50 people. No flash, just vows and dirt roads. He was fresh out of service. She was his anchor. Through every job, every move, every crisis, she stayed. That wasn't a fairy tale. That was a choice every single day. Now, more than 14 years married and 24 years together, they still speak in looks and finish each other's frustrations. On March 17, 2010, their life changed again. Twin boys, Bailey and Bradley, born early but healthy. And everything changed. Derek was flying out for meetings, fixing operations, leading teams. But at home, he was on diaper duty at 2 a.m., bottle in one hand, laptop in the other. He refused to miss those moments, but the guilt gnawed at him. Every plane ride felt like he was flying away from what mattered. And Jessica, managing a home with 2 infants, never let him forget who he was really working for. Then Bentley came in 2012 and a daughter in 2015 whose name VE kept quietly theirs. That same year Derek's company nearly collapsed, the embezzlement, the lawsuits, the pressure. He was working 60-hour weeks, some days he barely spoke. Jessica took over finances, ran the house, managed the chaos. They had nights they didn't talk. Weeks they barely smiled, but they never gave up. Not on each other, not on the dream. Then came the therapy. In 2016, Jessica sat him down, said something was wrong, and he admitted what he'd been hiding. Burnout so deep he was scared it might break him. He feared missing his kids grow up. He feared becoming a man he didn't recognize. So they made a choice together. He would walk away. Slowly, quietly, he'd leave the corporate world behind. That same year, Vice Grip Garage became more than a hobby. It became a path, a way out, a new chapter. By 2018, they packed everything and moved to Lewisburg, Tennessee. It wasn't about escape. It was about finding peace. Tennessee had no income tax, warmer weather, and land to breathe. Jessica started homeschooling. Derek got to work year-round on cars. The kids had space, the family had time. And Derek finally had balance. He wasn't chasing titles anymore. He was chasing life. And he caught it. When Derek Bieri filmed his first Vice Grip Garage video in 2007, he was just 23 and serving in the military. It was a simple oil change on a 1969 Camaro shot in his garage with a basic camera. That video got around 50 views, but something about his blunt honesty, no-frills garage, and real tools caught the attention of a few hardcore car guys. There was no script, no editing tricks, just raw hands and real rust, while other car channels polished their videos with studio lighting and fancy shots.